Hi there, it's Chris Rue here, and I wanted to talk to you about what we're doing on this channel. We're here to help business executives become business leaders, and we're going to have a few conversations going forward. You know, if you're one of those folk who set up their own businesses and you've carried all the hats, you've been the one doing all the bits and pieces, but now you've expanded, you've been successful, and now you're employing people, then there's a reason to move from being that manager of all the bits and pieces yourself to being the leader of others. So this channel's for you. If you've just taken over a new department or a new division, leading on part of the company or the company itself, and need to move from being a manager to a leader to inspire, engage others, then this channel is for you. And today I'm kind of wanting to have a little conversation, have a little chat about various items, but today it's all about alpha males, because I keep getting asked this question: how do you deal with the alpha male? Which is kind of an interesting challenge, really, because Harvard Business Review 2004, which is going back a bit now, said that some 70% of the whole population of senior executives fall into this category of alpha males. And interestingly, quite how they do it, I don't know, but it's a great skill. Ladies seem to manage to avoid some of the negative connotations of being an alpha male, which is a real asset. So it does seem to be rather peculiar to us chaps. So something to think about when dealing with them. I'm sure maybe you've met one or two in your time, and they're very high energy, aren't they, these people? They're very confident. They create a bit of an aura, don't they? Very intelligent people, and of course when you're in their presence there is an interesting or ease, let's say a perception that you're rather a lesser person in that presence, and people aspire to be like them, but it can interestingly shut you down. They are quick on their feet, alphas. They're likely to crave the limelight, and certainly be the centre of attention. The interesting thing is that they do thrive on responsibility. So whereas rather the larger majority of people worry about having to take important decisions, alphas are far more likely to get stressed if the decision making is not being done by them, which is kind of interesting when you're dealing with stuff. So if you're taking the decision making out of their hands, on the one hand, it'll be great if you're helping contribute to their agenda, but know that they are the ones who like to make decisions. But of course they're quite quick and they're impatient. Quite often they're fidgety people, and they will, they're more likely to be those people who complete your sentences in order to move on to the next topic. If you've experienced being in their orbit, then you may well find this sense of, for want of a better phrase, inadequacy. And you can start questioning your own self-worth, which is why this is important as a subject to deal with. So how do you tackle these guys? And what information can help you move in and work in an equanimous and equal state with them? So there is really, I think, an important couple of points to think about. From the alpha's point of view, the question is, are you going to be part of their solution? So, because if you're part of their solution, then you're useful to them. But if you're not, then quite frankly, you're a bit of a victim. You're a bit of a problem for me, and I just need to deal with you and get you out of my way. Now that may sound pretty harsh, but for the alpha, they're just trying to get the job done, and you're either useful to me or you're not. So it's all about the alpha's goals. What are they trying to achieve? Which makes it really tough to introduce or influence from your point of view and your sense of what's right and wrong. So usually alphas have a very, very clear agenda, at least in their own minds, and they want you to help them deliver their solution. One of the challenges is that, of course, alphas are likely to be amongst the brightest, if not the brightest, in the room. So they trust their own intuition first rather than others. And that can be a challenge, especially if the person that's talking to them is waffling. So in order to be a victor, as it were, in this scenario when meeting the alphas, you do need to use that word, meet them. Meet them where they stand. Now that doesn't mean being aggressive or punchy with them. It just means being prepared to hold your ground. Alphas are much more likely to respect somebody who's prepared to challenge them. They're more likely to listen to a precise and concise challenge with a specific objection than somebody who wanders into the realm of concept and goes through an idea of, well, do you know, the situation that we find ourselves in the marketplace is a bit up and down, and we're really thinking about these aspects or these aspects, and unfortunately you've lost the alpha already because he's bored, and they really need you to be very, very precise. So that really then brings on this idea of, how do I be precise? Now, we all do it. We can do it when we're pushed into a corner, as it were. What's the really key thing that you need to get across? And so when thinking about this, the question is, how do you sharpen up your act? So my little simple statement is, what is your executive summary? We do executive summaries all the time, especially if you're doing an email, for example. Here's the thing I want to talk about. I'll expand on it later. So can you say in 1 or 2 lines what it is that you want or are trying to do? Because that way it makes it much easier to digest, and for the alpha, they know exactly where you're going and what you're doing. Now, you do run the risk of them saying, no, that's rubbish, or you also run the benefit of saying, okay, I get what you're trying to say, now explain it. So I recall a time when I was helping a team who were about to meet their alpha male leader, and they wanted to have a conversation about how do we prepare ourselves for meeting that person. They were very direct in terms of their request, which was great, but we decided to role play a little bit and explore some options about the different styles and the way that people pitched up. And during that role play, it was quite interesting because there were some people who were very concise and very to the point. So they wanted to actually achieve X by Y in Z time. And that, if you like, is going to be meat and drink to the alpha. There are others within that team who were going around the houses. They were going into the waffling state, if you like. And now by highlighting that in the room, it was really, really helpful for people to understand what could be seen, if you like, as a victim's answer, where you're much more likely to be a hot lunch because you haven't really answered the question and you're waffling because you're really trying to think of the answer. And in that scenario, it's better to say nothing. Or it's the victor's answer who's saying, no, this is exactly what I want and this is exactly where I want to go. One of the interesting ways or techniques that can help with that, getting to my executive summary type piece, is think about if this area, your responsibility, your function, your business was indeed your business. So if I want to move my business forward, and my business is training, then what are the 3 key things that I need for my training business to move forward? They are this, this, and this. So that will be the request that you're going to make of the alpha leader who's going to talk to you. Or if he asks you the question, so what's important to you, Chris? You know, you're prepared, you know exactly what it is. The last thing he wants is a waffly answer. And also it communicates the fact that you are prepared, that you're ready, and that you're in the moment. So by helping people get really clear on what it is they want in that little training exercise that we did, it actually helped them not only focus on preparation for this meeting, but also obviously help focus on what's really important for them in delivering their part of the business. And that becomes obviously crucial strategically as well as individually for getting things done. And what it also does as another aside is that you start to feel a little bit more confident about what it is you're actually there to do. And also, of course, at the end of the day with this particular exercise, the alpha leaves feeling that everybody around the room knows their role, knows their task, knows what they're trying to deliver. Oh, and by the way, it's helping fulfill my agenda. So it's a very simple thing, a very simple thing. What is your executive summary for this project or this initiative? Or simply the point that you want to make? The other phrase is, just give me the headlines. So what are the headlines? By challenging yourself to be more precise, just say what it is that you're looking for or the key point you wish to make. Not only will you make it easier for people to understand you, but you will be stepping into the alpha male's wheelhouse under your own terms. So start with something simple and take it from there. Have a go, have a practice. do tell people that you're having a go with this and adopting this more concise stance, and see how they react to it, see how they feel about you operating in that manner. They might get a strange reaction, you never know. But, you know, being concise is, as I said at the start, not meant to be being cross or being angry or short with people. It just means being concise, getting straight to the point quite quickly. And by adopting this precise approach, you will gain clarity for both yourself and your colleagues. Okay, well, let me know how you get on with it. I'd love to know how it works for you. And if you like this style and this idea of tips and techniques, then we can find there's plenty more of them to be found on chrisrue.com, where I've put together 1 or 2 videos that really pick up on some of the techniques I've picked up over the years with regard to leadership, and hopefully they'll be helpful to you. So all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to helping you become the leader that you want to be. Bye for now.